The statistics are bad. The economic bubbles continue to inflate. And the next recession is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. And millennials are screwed. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. In this video, I'm going to explain why I believe millennials are unfortunately screwed when the next recession hits. But before I dive in, I want to say this. Yankee does not hate millennials. There. Not only do I want to state that, I'm probably going to stick it right down here. I don't know how long I'll leave it on the screen, but I want you to understand that I don't hate millennials. I have many millennial friends, both in real life and online. I have several wonderful millennials working for me. I've even raised one. I also collaborate with a tremendously talented and hard-working millennial every other week on YouTube. Yeah. They're creative, they're versatile, they're adaptive. Millennials are fantastic. And just because I'm 52 years old doesn't make me some sort of old, get off my lawn fart who hates them. On contraire, I hate the stereotype that they're just a bunch of spoiled social media or gaming sloths. So what happened? Millennials were sold the American dream. A home, a college, career, a dog, PlayStation, whatever. And many got handed the Great Recession right when they were entering the workforce. So let's cut the millennial generation some slack, okay? Especially down there in the comments. You fellow Gen Xers out there, be kind. If you want to blame anyone, blame the everyone gets a trophy parents, okay? All right, so enough of that. Why do I think millennials are screwed when the next recession hits? Well, let me give you some context first. Millennials ages 20 to 35 are expected to hit 73 million strong in 2019. 73 million. Baby boomers, those aged 52 to 70, expected to decline to 72 million. So the first time ever, there are going to be more millennials than anyone else. Big group. But they are not in good shape. And here's the first reason why they're in such bad shape. Horrible lack of savings. You know, positive here. I get so jacked up when I get an email or a comment or something from a millennial who's just started stacking. It's awesome because it's so hard for them to do it. Sometimes I encourage them to make sure they're out of their high interest credit card debt, but it really warms my heart when they start doing it. It's so rare. Did you know that 2/3 of millennials have nothing saved up for retirement? And those that do, they report having less than $20,000 in their retirement accounts. That's not a lot. What about a house? Nope. Saving for that is pretty much out of reach for many millennials. In fact, home ownership is around 8% less than it was for baby boomers or Gen Xers when we were their age. All right, car. Well, that's a little better. With the older millennials that were born in the 80s, about 85% of them own cars. But when it comes to the younger millennials, those that were born in the 90s, fewer than half have purchased their first vehicle. And you know what? I really don't think you can point the finger at Uber and Lyft on that one. The ride-sharing services mitigate some of the need for a car, but I think most of the reason why they don't have one is because they lack the money to do it. So savings, big issue. And just so you know, the Great Recession That didn't just mean a few years of high unemployment and a couple of years of millennials living in their parents' basements. It means a full decade of lost wages. See, this generation suffered some pretty huge losses. It's going to take years for them to rebound from. And savings, oh my word, savings is so critical. When a recession hits, I mean, that's when you want to have savings. And they've got practically nothing. When it goes bad for millennials, it's going to go bad for all of us. You can't just say, well, it's millennials. I got my precious metal. No. Our economy as a whole is made a lot worse when millennials can't buy a house or can't start a family, can't start a small business. It's going to hurt us all. All right, so that's the first reason why millennials are screwed in the next recession. Reason number 2, skyrocketing debt. Now, we all are dealing with debt in this country, but did you know that on average, a millennial is $42,000 in debt? $42,000! That's amazing. Now, okay, it's not really mostly about the college debt, although we're going to talk about that in a minute. Most of the debt that they deal with, a quarter of it, is with credit card balances. So revolving debt, I should say, credit card debt, consumer debt, that's a quarter of that debt. And of course, right after that is the nasty student loans, college. Now, I'm gonna rant. Yankee's gonna rant now. Rant warning. Whoop, whoop, rant. A college degree used to be targeted to certain careers, certain occupations, right? That's why you got a college degree. That was the case for my parents, part of the greatest generation. That was for me, part of the Gen X generation. But a college degree was sold to millennials as a right. College degree became a right of admission to get a professional job. Everybody had to have a college degree. And trade schools, they all became devalued over the last few decades. And all of that was orchestrated by the U.S. government's guaranteed student loan program. Our founding fathers would roll over in their collective graves knowing that our federal government was subsidizing practically risk-free loans to colleges and universities. No wonder tuitions are going through the roof. It's lunacy. Now, I know there's a lot of blame to go around with college debt, and I can imagine you guys putting some of this in the comments. Yes, young people pick some pretty useless majors sometimes. Companies blindly require a degree for white-collar jobs. I mean, I've experienced that. Our society, for some stupid freaking reason, tends to look down on valuable blue-collar jobs. I mean, that's nuts. But the U.S. government has enabled this college debt trap for our millennials, and we're all paying the price. So, all right, so that was a long reason number 2, skyrocketing debt. Reason number 3, Bitcoin. Yeah, I said it. Bitcoin. Now, I'm sure I'm going to get comments from millennials who made a killing on Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum or whatever altcoin you got, right? I get that. But for every one of you, there are thousands and thousands who have lost plenty. And it seems like every generation has to learn this. I had to. Gen Xers, we had the dot-com bust, right? But millennials have been suckered into this Bitcoin mania. And it's not a hedge against recession. It's not. This is precious metals. Now, again, before anybody starts saying, oh, Yankee, you're so old, you don't know what you're talking about, this is the future, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I get it. A cashless society, yeah, it's our future. I know. I'm a technologist. I've studied cryptocurrencies, studied distributed ledger technologies. I kind of know this stuff. And in my opinion, a future global government-backed crypto, yeah, it's very likely. It may even be backed by gold. Who knows? But Bitcoin? Bitcoin is to money like pets.com was to the internet. It is a speculative bubble that has hammered millennials. I've seen it firsthand. They've lost their shirts. So that is the third reason why I think millennials are screwed. They're going to think Bitcoin and these other current crypto are going to save them during a recession, and they're not. Fourth reason. Thank you for sticking with me this far. This is the last reason why I think millennials are screwed when the recession hits. And it's socialism. I read this recent article right here. It made my skin crawl. 40%, actually more than 40%, I think, of Americans embrace some form of socialism. And you know, many of those who do are millennials. I have to say, I never ever thought that I would see the day where Americans would just embrace socialism. It's a dance with the devil, and it's going to destroy us during the next crisis. All right, you know, I have a growing following of the Yankee Stacking Channel from Europe, over the pond, and it's one of the reasons why I put out these gorgeous Britannias. I'm telling you, these are spectacular government bullion. Look at that. Oh, and the shine, right? I love them. They're fantastic. But I would love to have some of our European friends who have experienced socialism, communism firsthand to leave a comment right down there for all of us, especially the millennials. Tell us, millennials really don't have any history with the USSR or the Berlin Wall or Tiananmen Square or you name it. They really don't. Those things don't resonate with millennials. And instead of embracing what our American ancestors fought and died for, liberty, including economic liberty, millennials have been tricked into abandoning capitalism for what they think is economic freedom, but really is economic slavery. They've actually been taught in schools to be disgusted with our country, the same country that has provided them and their families with more opportunities than any country in history. And when the next recession hits, I'm afraid millennials, this big, huge mother of all demographics that's growing, is going to place the blame squarely at capitalism's feet and go all in on socialism. That's what I fear. Why? Well, candidates are promising all kinds of free stuff. And during a collapse, I really think the hard-hit millennials are going to take this hook, line, and sinker. All right, so anyways, I don't want to leave on a down note. Absolutely not. Okay, those are the 4 reasons why I think millennials are screwed. But what does precious metals have to do with this situation? You know, it's going to be tremendously hard, and it is tremendously hard, I think, for us stackers to convince people, especially millennials, that this is actually a smart idea. But we need to do that. We need to encourage increased savings. We need to encourage reducing debt, especially consumer debt. And we need, obviously, to encourage the stacking of precious metals as a hedge, as a protection. You know, I've tried to do that. I've brought 1 or 2 precious metal coins in to my workplace, showed them to millennials. I've helped some, I've encouraged some. I had one that said, I bought my first house. I'm getting out of debt. I've had some say, I really should buy some of that silver, Yankee. I love that. We need to do more of that. When you see a young stacker in our community take an interest in silver, or a potential stacker take interested in silver, maybe even gold, right here, we need to applaud them. We need to cheer them on. Shoot, I think, what would be cool? It'd be cool is to start a new hashtag. How about this? Hashtag Millennials for Silver. You like that? If you like hashtag Millennials for Silver, put that in the comment. Really would appreciate it. If you've got some interesting insight, I'd love to read them in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video on Yankee Stacking. And as always, I hope your day is A-OK.